Alrighty. Welcome back, everybody, to, I guess we'll just call it Saturday School. I don't really want to call it Smelly Saturday School. There's a lot of S's and S's and all that. But this is a different format podcast. This is your opportunity, the people, to ask the people's coach any question that you got burning inside of you. Very direct stuff that Mark can just easily, we're kind of setting stuff up on a tee for Mark for him to crush it and hit the ball out the park. And we just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Piedmontese and Perfect Keto for giving us the opportunity to be able to do stuff like this. I don't know if you guys checked your bank account, but we actually don't charge you guys anything for doing these episodes. However, it is not free. So we do have the opportunity available to us because of people like Piedmontese Beef and Perfect Keto. For more information on them, all links and everything will be down in the YouTube and iTunes description. But please head over to Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com at checkout. Enter promo code Power Project for 25% off your order. And if your order is $99 more, you get free 2-day shipping. And perfectketo.com/power25. Same promo code Power Project for 25% off any order of $29 or more. Mark Smelly Bell, if that really is your real name, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Just got done with a workout, did some sprints. We're still in that quarantine. I think it's Monday, May 18th. And we're still in lockdown out here in California, but I'm getting outside, getting some sun, and just got in some sprints and feel really good.
Awesome, dude. So if that really is your real name, how did you get the nickname Smelly?
Well, it was the best option out of all the other names that my brothers wanted to give me. Having two older brothers, all they do is make fun of you pretty much. So I had a nickname that was Vinegar Butt was one of them. I have kind of a stained front tooth because I probably just didn't brush my teeth much when I was a kid. And so I was Crusty Tooth, which later turned into Big Chief Crusty Tooth, which I'm not sure how that name came about. But, my brothers roughed me up pretty good, mentally, physically, whatever way they could. And, Smelly was one that I just hated taking showers. I loved being outside. I loved playing football and getting messy and gross. And just because I didn't like to take showers, I'm sure I didn't smell very good, especially when you get to be like when you're a little kid, it's not really that big of a deal. It's not very offensive to anybody. But as you get to be a little older, as you start getting some hair and some spots and stuff like that, then you start to really stink. And so at first they'd call me Stinky. They'd call me a bunch of different names. And then ultimately Smelly just stuck to me. And it stuck to me mainly because when my brother's friends would come over, when you're a little kid and you got older siblings or older cousins or something, all you want to do is hang out with them. Like you're so excited. You just want to, you want to do what they're doing and stuff. And I always wanted to do what my brothers were doing, but they're like, no, get out of here, Smelly, and then they realized that it bothered me, like it would make me cry, and so once they realized it bothered me, then it stuck. And then I didn't have to live with the other awful names. And then as I got older though, Smelly became very important because I would introduce myself to people as Smelly, and it became a barometer. It became a way that I could gauge you. If I was to meet you, Andrew, and let's say I was at like a local gym and I'm training or something, and we get talking, and you're like, hey, I see you in here all the time. What's your name? I'm Andrew. And if I was like, I'm Smelly, and you kind of gave me like a weird look, I would just know like, we weren't going to be buds, like if you got it and you're like, oh, that's, I got it. And then if you came back and said, oh, I got a stupid nickname too, and then we could both laugh about it. And even in terms of meeting females, it was a good way to check, to kind of see where they're at. When I met my wife, Andy, it was the same thing. When I met her, I remember telling a lot of girls when I would meet them, I'd say my name's Smelly, and then it'd be like, and they would just like blow you off, and like, they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with like somebody who's going to act silly or weird, and then Smelly, like they're thinking like this guy's probably dropping ass all day long. I need to get out of here while I can. And when I said to Andy, she just didn't even care. She's like, oh, it's funny or whatever, and we just got talking from there. So even though it's a funny, silly nickname, I think it's always fun to have nicknames and stuff too. As you know, at Super Training Gym, we got like Little Smokey. Smokey was named after those little tiny hot dogs that are stuffed with cheese sometimes, or just they come as like little tiny hot dogs. They're called Little Smokies. And we've had a lot of different people with nicknames over the years, and a lot of that had to do with me being picked on and me giving a nickname at such a young age that stuck with me forever.
Yeah, there are tons of nicknames, and from what I understand, and maybe this is just a general rule for any gym, but in particular, Super Training Gym, nobody can come in with their own nickname, right? Like, I couldn't come in with something that I got from someone else. It would have to come in all organically from Super Training.
Yeah, you can't go and make it up yourself, because then you might give yourself a good nickname. I think Nsima has tried that.
He has tried, and we have
self-proclaimed natty professor, centaur, or whatever else to try to nickname he's trying to give himself over there. Big Daddy, whatever he is, all those things.
That one, that's the cringy one. But yeah, other than Smelly and those other ones, did anybody else ever give you any other kind of nicknames, or was it just Smelly and that was it?
So I played football at Santa Monica City College, and I had an opportunity to play with Chad Ochocinco, and I had an opportunity to play with Steve Smith. Yeah, Steve Smith and Ochocinco, and having an opportunity to play with those guys was absolutely amazing. But everyone on the team was awesome. Like the whole lineup, a lot of the guys ended up going, this was at a junior college, Santa Monica City College. A lot of the guys ended up going Division I, but there was something different about the entire team than me. I was pretty much the only white guy. There was like one guy, he was really light skinned, and he and I were like buddies, but I later found out he was Mexican, and he was like, man, I've been Mexican this whole time. You didn't know that? It was just funny. We were just having a good laugh about it. We made nothing of it really, but he and I were just saying, oh, we got to stick together, that kind of stuff. And then I had another friend on the team that was white as well, who was our offensive tackle, but pretty much it was like me and him that were white on the team. The rest of the team was black, so I got made fun of. They had a different thing every day. Every day they were just ripping on me every day, and they would talk shit about how strong I am and stuff, because it didn't matter to them because they were so athletic. They could kick my ass in the field anyway. I could get them here and there. I could get people here and there with stuff, but it was rare because they were so fast and so athletic. It was tough. Anyway, we have these drills, kind of like a 7-on-7 type of drill. We're supposed to go like half speed, but we're supposed to give each other like a really good look. Coach wanted us to hit each other. The coach wanted us to make a lot of contact and be aggressive. And we're doing this 7-on-7, and our quarterback throws the ball over the middle to Steve Smith. Steve Smith, by the way, is one of he's a Hall of Famer, this future NFL Hall of Famer, if he's not already in the Hall of Fame, I forget. But I mean, there's just no question, if he's not in the Hall of Fame, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest wide receivers in the history of the NFL. On top of that, he has kind of the moniker of being like one of the toughest. I mean, this guy, he's not very big, but he is freaking powerful. Anyway, we used to kind of get into it. I was outside linebacker, and I would always try to hit him as he's coming out of his breaks and stuff like that. And I'd hit him with everything I had, but it would hurt me more often than it would hurt him, I think. He never showed any signs of letting up. I never showed any signs of letting up, and I would just, try to beat the crap out of him whenever I could. Anyway, one day he's coming over the middle. The ball is thrown a little high, and he catches it, and I just blast him. I just blast him in the chest, and I knock the ball up in the air, and our team intercepts it and stuff. My head is ringing from that, and he just pops up like nothing happened, and he's like, okay. He's like, okay, Powder. He calls me Powder. He goes, okay, Powder. He's like, I got you. He's like, I see you. My number is 52. He's like, 5'2". He's like, 5'2". I got you. He goes, I don't know, if it's this week. I don't know if it's going to be next week. I don't know when it's going to be. But he's like, I got you. And then about 2 weeks later, we're running some drills. And I think we might have just been kind of doing maybe like a full on scrimmage, and I'm chasing after our quarterback. And I'm like, holy shit, like I'm going to get him, because I was able to run pretty good. I wasn't like quick, but I was fast. If I had an opportunity to run for a second, then I could be kind of fast. I wasn't very quick though. So I was like, holy shit, I'm closing in on him. I think I'm going to get him. And out of nowhere, Steve Smith just wham, just absolutely drills me. And all I really remember, I mean, I think I got knocked out a little bit. All I really remember is like my feet, like just seeing my feet, seeing my cleats. He had a decleater on me, and I kind of like rolled, and I got up as if nothing happened. But man, I was groggy and I was sick. I threw up the whole night, really sick all the next day, and then just like barely made it to practice the next day, and just tried whatever I could to get through practice, even though my head was ringing. Looking back on it now with all the information they have about like concussions and stuff, that definitely was not a good situation, but I was too stubborn to admit that I got my ass kicked. And my last name being Bell, they're like, oh, you got your bell rung. And everyone, the whole team loved it. The whole team loved that I got killed. And they loved the fact that like the strongest guy just got absolutely annihilated. So my name from then on was was Powder. But yeah, he got me good, and that's the hardest I've ever been hit in anything. I've done some boxing, I did professional wrestling. I went through a table from the Hardy Boys as part of a WWE pay-per-view commercial that they did, where Kane was up to bat playing baseball, and he hit it in the park home run, and I was on second base, and the Hardy Boys gave me a leg drop and put me through a table, and that gave me a concussion as well. That knocked me out pretty good, but nothing hurt as bad as Steve Smith hitting me, because Steve Smith, he runs like a 4.40 or something like that. So he was flying. I'm running with everything I got, and he probably only is like $170, but whatever that $170 is that he has is different than everybody else. So he just annihilated me. Trying to think of. I had another nickname when I was in 8th grade or 9th grade or so. I did track, and my track coach, I remember just kind of being super scared, because my track coach is like, no one's going to come out from this team and be one dimensional. You're not just going to come out to this team and mess around and throw a shot put or throw a discus. And I was like, is she talking to me? Like, oh my God. She's like, everyone's going to run too. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I should get out of here. But there was a lot of cute girls on the track team. So I was like, I'll just ride it out and see what happens. Of course, I never talked to those girls, but, I was doing shot put, discus, and she was like, you got to pick something running wise. I'm like, what's the shortest thing I can run? And she said, 100 meter. And so I did the 100 meter, and I don't know how this happened, but we were on a track. I did well on 100 meter. I wasn't like, fast enough to beat people in like a sectional races, but I was fast enough to beat people in like league races and local events, even at the high school level. So I could move pretty good, but I wasn't at that sectional level or that state level. That's the kind of next level shit right there. But I ran on this track that had it wasn't a like rubber track. It was like a gravel track. And I don't know where I picked this up on my shoes or what happened, or if someone previously left this mark in there. But where I ran, just huge divots, because I don't know how to run. I run like very like back and forth rather than like in a straight line. I was already like lifting and stuff at the time, so probably has something to do with tightness in the hips or something. But anyway, where all my steps were, it was all red, where all my steps were in the track. And so when I was on track, they called me Flash, which is kind of funny, because then when I like played football or when I went to other camps and stuff, I think people thought that I was like super fast, which I was okay speed wise, but I think people calling like kind of the bigger white kid on the team Flash, I think was kind of funny.
That's funny, dude. You were bruising up the track. That's what was going on. And it's pretty amazing that Steve Smith had Powder head over heels concussed on the ground trying to figure out where he was. That's amazing, dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, then
watching those guys operate was cool. Steve Smith was a hard worker. He was at practice. He was there, but Chad, he wasn't around as much. He would just kind of show up for the games. He was just so talented. I mean, he was just who knows what somebody like that would do if they put in a lot of work. He not that he didn't put in any work, but he really wasn't at practice much and stuff like that. But he could just still blow by people in the game.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Mark. We'll go ahead and wrap this one up. This was Saturday School. And if you guys listening or watching, if you guys have any questions for Mark Bell, hit us up on Instagram at Mark Bell's Power Project or at I am Andrew Z. Use the hashtag Saturday School. Put it in all caps. Do whatever you got to do to get our attention, because this is your way to get in touch with Mark Bell. Ask him some questions that you might have burning inside you. Mark Bell, where else can people find you?
People can find me at Mark Smelly Bell. Please go check out my YouTube channel and check me out on Instagram at Mark Smelly Bell. Recently, I put up a video about self-confidence on my YouTube channel. I think it's the best video that I've ever shot myself, of myself. You guys have done much better jobs editing stuff together for me, the guys and girls that work here at Slingshot and stuff like that. But I think you guys will find it very useful. So I'd love for you to go and check that out. Thank you so much for listening to this. Give us some reviews. Let us know what's up. Got any questions? Please throw some questions our way. You guys are our best resource when it comes to these questions, because we hang out every day. And so we don't always know, what's on your mind. We don't always know what's going to be the most relevant to you. So please feel free to ask those questions. Thank you so much for listening. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you all later.